Hey, it's Heidi Rain. Welcome back for another episode of Addiction and Codependency Breakthrough. I am so glad you're here. Now, if you're listening to the podcast, hello. You're going to miss what I'm going to say next. You're not going to know what I'm talking about. But if you're watching the video and you could see this mannequin behind me, say hello to Stephanie. Stephanie is our resident mannequin who helps me sell things on Poshmark in my spare time. So sometimes she makes an appearance in the videos when I'm too lazy to put baby back in the corner. Okay, so we have here a list of questions. Oh my God, hundreds of questions that I've been asked over the 15 years that I've been dedicating my life to understanding addiction and the link between addiction and codependency and helping you who are impacted by another's addiction break free from any dysfunctional patterns that are preventing you and holding you back from having your happily even after. Amen. If you're interested in learning more, you can always go over to HeidiRain.com at any time. I have tons of resources, courses, coaching opportunities available for you to deepen your understanding and get moving, get off the train, right? The runaway train of like craziness. And this is your stop. I've got you if you're wanting to get off of the crazy train. Today, we're going to answer the question that I get all the time. And that question is, can you have a healthy relationship with an addict or an alcoholic? Now, of course, I'm inclined when somebody asks me that question to say, well, is a pig inclined to bark? You know, but that answer is not good enough because we need to actually explore that a little bit more because yes and no is the answer. And I'm going to tell you when it's yes and when it's definitely no, so that you can look at your relationship and evaluate, do you have a shot in hell at having a healthy relationship with your probably functioning addict or functioning alcoholic? And that's probably why you're asking that, because they're probably still functioning. They're probably still being able to hold their job, make a living, go to work, et cetera, et cetera. And so you're thinking, okay, I think we have a healthy-ish relationship. Well, let's talk about it this way. Let's think about my dog is making a crazy noise. Let's think about this. If I was going to build a house, a relationship house, what are the key ingredients that need to happen inside of this relationship house that I'm building to make sure it's sturdy? Like little pig, let me in. It's not going to blow over. It's not going to cave in. It's not a house made of straw, a house built on sand. It is a firm foundation of a house. And that's how we know this thing is built to last. I love things that are built to last. Don't you? I'm not like a fad girl. I get like the latest thing. And what I do is I get things that are tried and true and are going to last forever. Kind of like the advice I'm giving you here on this channel. It's not a popularity contest for me. I'm not like following trends and doing videos or doing podcasts based on that. I'm giving you the good that I know is going to help deliver you to freedom, emotional, psychological, spiritual freedom. Okay. So let's go that same route with building this super firm house and foundation. So, speaking of which, what is the foundation of any healthy relationship? I know you already said it because that's the one that we all know, which is trust. So, inside of trust, there are lots of questions that we need to ask ourselves to say, can this be healthy or not? It's not just like, I trust you to do the right thing. Trust is research shows that what makes somebody trust you is is not like doing the same thing all the time or consistency like we think that it is, because you can be consistent in being a jerk or you can be consistent in letting me down and I don't trust you, right? Or I'll say I don't trust you, but the truth is I have a tremendous amount of trust. I have negative trust in the fact that you're going to probably screw up, do the damn thing, whatever. So with trust, the one question we want to ask ourselves is, man, when I really trust somebody, what makes me trust them implicitly? And research shows that it's when you believe in your heart and you know that the person that you are with has your best interest at heart. So just think about that for a minute. Well, I trust you because even if we're going to make a tough decision, I know ultimately at the end of the day, you're thinking about me, you're thinking about you, and you're thinking about us. But when you're dealing with an addict or an alcoholic, they can't even trust themselves to make a decision for themselves. That's a good one. So how in the hell are they going to have your best interest at heart when they don't even have their best interest at heart. Now, when somebody gets into recovery, and they're actively working recovery, that's when we start the process of trust all over again from the very beginning. And, so many times I spend a lot of my energy and effort in my sessions, in my programs and courses, dealing with how specifically do you rebuild trust? What are the steps? What are the things I need to do? So, we're not talking about how to do that in this video, but what we are talking about is if this is an ingredient, if this is the house, the foundation is trust. Okay, so let's move on to some of the walls. What does the roof look like up in here? One of the walls that holds up the joint is communication. Now, within that pillar of communication, I have a lot of different things, not like, oh, I can talk to you, we're talking, we can talk to one another. No, it means, can I be honest with you about what I'm thinking and feeling? Do I feel like it's a safe space to be able to express to you my thoughts, or am I walking on eggshells? Am I in this relationship and I'm afraid that I'm on a tripwire and I'm going to say or do the wrong thing and it's going to send you down to relapse lane. And that's the story that we tell ourselves is we have that much power over their addiction that so but we don't, and again, these are all the things we learn as we start to work together, but just this basic communication. Ask yourself, how's our conflict resolution? Are we sweeping stuff under the rug or are we airing things out? Are we communicating what's going on? Now, when somebody's in recovery, a lot of this conflict resolution work is done inside of safe containers, inside group coaching. What I offer, couples come in and my husband and I run that particular group for people, but and it's usually done learning how to communicate is fostered by a professional because it's not like a magic wand, somebody gets sober and now you learn how to talk to one another. There's so much resentment, there's so much built up rage, and rightfully so, right? I mean, you literally have been a victim in somebody else's internal war, okay? And you have the shrapnel, the psychological shrapnel, the emotional shrapnel, and it takes some time to pull that out. So trust is the foundation, communication is a wall. Another wall is mutual respect. Do I feel like you have a sense of what I want and what I need and a respect for those things? When we're talking about our communication, is what I value and what I'm about respected, or are my rights, or are my needs, or am I being consistently violated? Are my boundaries being crossed? Is there no mutual respect? Don't drink in the house. I don't want alcohol around me. Can you just not do this at the party? How much mutual respect is going on? But then you're expected to not bring anything up and just kind of, not rock the boat. But meanwhile, this person's tipping the boat. This person's sinking the boat, and you're worried about rocking the boat. When we're in recovery from our codependence with this addicted relationship, we learn how to reclaim our right to have the respect because it's like we question ourselves in these dynamics in these dysfunctional relationships. Like, am I allowed to want what I want? Am I allowed to feel what I feel? Is it okay for me to do? Is should I be able to have what I have? Am I asking too much? These are all the questions that we ask, and your respect for yourself has lowered and lowered because your standards have gone with it, right, over time. Oh my gosh, honesty, transparency, uh, self and shared responsibility when we think about the roof. Can I count on you to bring what you said you were going to bring to this marriage and I'm going to bring what I bring? Or are you the victim and I'm the fixer? Am I carrying all the weight in this dynamic and you're the broken one? And so I just cover your messes and clean up after you. And there is no shared responsibility because when the addict or alcoholic gets home at night, it's function all day at work and then save checking out for you when they get home and they sit back or drink or go to the garage or whatever. And so you're feeling like you're doing everything all of the time. You're just constantly running around and you're overly responsible and you're overcompensating for their underperforming inside of this relationship dynamic. And one of the other most important things, obviously, is emotional support. Is this person you can go to? I mean, they're not even emotionally available for themselves. They're numbing out their emotions. Nobody's home. So how can this person be a healthy person for you if emotionally nobody's home? And speaking of which, intimacy is the front door. Intimacy and shared values and us being with one another and spending quality time and affection and attention and all those things are intimacy. How can you truly be intimate with somebody in a healthy way that's not home or that's home mentally some days and some days not, and some days recovering and in and out and lying to you and then making it better and then coming back around and you're constantly in this cycle of abuse over and over and over again. So, can a relationship ever be healthy with an addict or an alcoholic? Not an active one. All right, so that's the no, okay? But the yes is once somebody gets into recovery, all these things are possible, but it's not a wave of a magic wand that sobriety is now gonna make our relationship healthy because you just stopped using. You will find that when they get sober, and God willing they do, and I help families do that all the time, okay? All the time, we help people get better, even the ones you think won't do it end up going. But what I'm here to tell you is that you cannot underestimate the level of support that you're gonna need to heal and mend from all that shrapnel that I just talked about. And it's going to be a process of rebuilding trust, laying that foundation, learning how to communicate and build a wall and talk and share your thoughts and ideas and conflict resolution when old stuff comes up or triggers happen. Relearning how to open that door to intimacy again and connect with one another, mutual respect of each other's desires and needs, sharing responsibility in the household again. You have like a major renovation to do. Okay. Either you had those things once and boy, somebody let that house go. It's a beautiful house. And man, it was just so gorgeous. And then all of a sudden it's like gray gardens up in here. Okay. We had one too many cats and it is a bad scene. And we got to clean her out like an episode of Hoarders. Got a bunch of junk piled up. We got to pull this stuff out and start over again. And sometimes, you watch Hoarders, they got to condemn that bad boy and they got to start over from scratch. And so, but the thing is like you don't come from a hoarder house and stop hoarding and you're done. You gotta call the cleanup crew. You got to call people to come in and take that stuff out. And the same is true for your relationship. So you need your own space where you can heal. And then collectively, should you choose to heal as a couple, I have you covered. I've got you. Okay. I've dedicated my whole entire adult career life to serving you, somebody who's been impacted or affected by another's addiction and is dealing with codependency. Now, if you're confused, like, I don't, is codependency what? Uh, I made a test for you. You can go over to HeidiRain.com and take my attachment personality pattern test. That's a lot of words, but basically, it's a lot of words for a lot of insight into yourself. It's going to teach you all about your codependency patterns and let you know, hey, then maybe this is how your stuff is showing up. Now, again, if you want, I'm old school. If you want to talk to me, go over to my website at Heidi Rain and like, here, there's a big secret. Send me an email. What? Yeah, old school. I don't have a 7-step process. Send me an email and I'll reply and we'll start talking. Now, again, sometimes I get a lot of emails, so it might take me a minute or two. But if you want quicker, you can fill out a form and that alerts me right away and lets me know. And then I get back to you as well. So I love you. I hope this has been helpful. I got to run. I have a client in exactly 60 seconds. So I've got to go. I got to serve somebody. If you want to book a session, you can do that too. Go over to HeidiRain.com and find out. And until next time, I love you. Let's look inside our house and see what we got going on. And let's commit to the process of rebuilding together. I love you. See you really soon. Bye. Until the next episode. I don't know why I'm singing you out, but I did.